Welcome everybody to the World Podcast Network. My name is Emily Gomer, and a podcast engineer here. And we are excited to bring you a episode of Ability Now. We have a great guest coming on today, but yeah, we're all about all abilities and so on. But I am going to bring in somebody else here. Hold on. So what do you have to say about what a new exciting episode of a new thing here?
Excellent. Thank you so much, Emily. My name is Sue Roskoff, and we are here with the Now program today, and we are introducing a new friend to everybody. I'm so excited to learn more about CeCe. I know I've gotten to meet her not directly, but there's this amazing group that meets in the mornings, and I always have Ability Huddle in my head. It's the Daily Huddle, and I have gotten to get to know her a little bit actually through that, because she's a wonderful participant there. I've been very shy on there. I haven't really been much of a participant yet at this point, but we'll have my chance actually coming up. But I am so excited to have her joining us here today. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring her in. CeCe, welcome to the program. So glad to have you here.
Thank you. Welcome to my coming out party. My name is CeCe. And this coming out party has nothing to do with sexuality. It's all about the Ability Network. So welcome, everybody. And I'm just going to share a little bit about myself. My nickname is actually Poundcake because I sell pound cake every day. And I used to be like 260 pounds. And everybody used to think it was the pound cake that made me big. It wasn't. I actually had an underlying issue, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Otherwise, I am so glad to be here, and whatever questions that you would like to ask of me, I'm all about the Ability Network. So I'm ready for any questions.
All right, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and bring Kurt in as well. He has been the connecting key point in a lot of this with having you here with us. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Kurt.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And CeCe, thank you for being here today and offering this yet new opportunity for us all with the World of Ability Podcast Network and building off of our opportunities from the Daily Huddle. And, my venture, again, is rooted from traversing 100 different organizations, being vice chair of the Wisconsin Council on Physical Disabilities that emerged into starting radio show 8 years ago. And this passion comes from seeing great work by a small group of people, so like say the Daily Huddle, they do pretty good. And sometimes you get 20, 15, you're 15 to 20 people on there, maybe more typically 8 to a dozen, people huddling. Sometimes it's a busy morning for folks, and I think they end up sometimes with 6 people on there. But that's the idea. I like the mindset of the huddle, because I was in groups that would have these small huddles, and I'd be thinking, wow, with what I'm experiencing right there with this small group, like with the 4 of us here today, that's what this structure is about, to take what the few of us are talking about and then make it available to all of you out there far and wide. I found that that's what was needed. And I'll tell you something, that when I got to know the circumstances around CeCe, and one of the topics, it's our hot topic today that we're going to cover at the end, and it's got me fired up, and it's going to take some water to douse the fire in my belly, folks, because I tell my story about water skiing. And the idea is that we're here today because Sue and I were out at a lake nearby, and 2 of our friends, overseeing a group of about 75, 80 people that put on water ski shows, we had a person with a disability come to perform in that water ski show, and two of our friends came over to me to say, hey, Kurt, now this is paraphrase, it's like the headline, Kurt, this isn't happening. Oh my goodness gracious, are you kidding me? We had a squad ready to go. We had already been doing for a couple decades, taking people with disabilities out there water skiing, and then this once-a-year event becomes the limit. Like, that's as far as we're going to go. Like, how dare you, Kurt, say that people with disabilities can ski in our ski show? Now, in the conversation, they're kind of like, Kurt, we've got a heart for people with disabilities and everything. It's just not wise, and people just have this way to justify what they're doing. And it's just ridiculous. And so became the awkward thing. Friends that I love dearly, I got pissed off, make a thing of it at the show, but it kept me up all night, folks. And then I woke up the next day and I talked to Sue, and we got our daughter involved, and we're like, what do we think about this as a family? The Roscoff family, what are we thinking? And it came down to stinking thinking. So now this segues over to the story CeCe's going to bring. We're going to cover some other stuff first, but there's an idea, there's fundamental things that need to be happening on our planet. There's things that just are in common kindness, and things that are values and mores, and like, what do we stand for as a person? When we live our life and we die, what's our legacy? And there's some people in these stories that it's like, we can question what our legacy is. And for sure, I have to do that. I've had to do that. And I'm sure people can go around and saying, I can't believe Kurt, what kind of an idiot is that guy? We can all do this to each other. But the idea is that I try to apply it in a positive, productive way that lets resolve an issue. And we have an issue today to resolve. And CeCe has been telling me it's been going on for a long time. And I can relate, because when I got into the business of watching our marginalized populations and bias and prejudice and, being privileged and, how we distribute things, this bias and stigma, there's these inequities. And from my ministries, it's all about pulling from sacred scriptures to say equally yoked. That becomes the litmus test. Are we equally yoked or not? And today's story says, hell no, we're not. So we're going to address that today. But first, we're going to come back, and Sue, we have learned a lot about CeCe. We got CeCe's Poundcake. She's a comedian, and we know her through the Daily Huddle. And we were talking before the show that we have a remarkable businessman and a remarkable friend, a remarkable man by the name of Mark and his wife, and business together to do a technology business. And they have a business where those of us that are challenged to give gifts, you can go to the Ham family and you can get some gifts. So CeCe, you said that you're familiar with Mark Ham. We're doing a Mark Ham shout out. We're going to share this with Mark. This is our love outpouring to our bud Mark Ham, and kudos to his wife for putting up with Mark all these years. But CeCe, what's your background with Mark? Tell us the Mark Ham story from where you sit.
I met Mark Ham on the Daily Huddle, and we go back years. And so he has much knowledge about technology. And now that he's doing more real estate, I'm involved. I'm enrolled in what Mark Ham has to do. And I am enrolled with the Daily Huddle, because that's an everyday thing that I just love. That, big things happen in small numbers. See, if you're faithful over a little, God blesses with much. And I know this for myself. So that Daily Huddle, even though it may be a small group, even though this group is small, the power is outrageous. So we're going to stick with this power, because today, this is 2024. My home, as well as a few other people's homes, are without water, and this has been since January 2023. Now, this is an all-inclusive condominium, which includes water, sewage, and all the amenities. My, condo's fees are paid and on time. And my question is, who has the right to turn off anyone's water when the bill is paid? I have contacted the water authority, which confirmed that the bill was paid. This is in Conyers, Georgia. The community is called Viewpoint East Condominiums. And I am choosing not to go to court for water. For one, I was advised not to do it. Two, how much do you charge for water that you're not getting that you paid for already? Three, even in the state of Georgia, there are laws saying that you can't cut off someone's water. That includes the utility company. Okay? And if this condo association, who I have owned for over 20 years, decides that they're going to change the covenants, well, I didn't sign those covenants. Those covenants, when I purchased over 20 years ago, included water, sewage, trash, all the amenities. That was the reason why I purchased. So fast forward till today, I'm a senior. There should not be one day where my home is without water, sewage, or anything like that. And so what I've learned that there's other families in the Rockdale County, this is Georgia, where they're being billed up to $500 a month individually for essential water. And that wouldn't have never have come to me if this wouldn't have happened to myself. So they are not speaking because, one, some of them are not documented and they're over here and they don't want to go back to their country. Two, if you speak up, you might not get anything done. So I do not have fear. So I'm speaking up, not just for myself, but for the other disenfranchised families and individuals that just want water. This is not a third world country over here. This is the United States. If it rains, that's water. And the fact that families and people do not have clean running water, and this is Georgia, it is not reasonable. So I'm speaking up. I'm speaking up for those individuals who have not had the privilege to even have a platform to say anything. I'm speaking up because this is wrong on anybody's watch. In the fact that the community, the local authorities are misdirecting or redirecting people to magistrate court is unreasonable. Okay? How do you take a shower when there's no water in your house? How do you live with sanitary issues going on? How do you even wash your hands, let alone feel comfortable in your home if you do not have any water? So I hope somebody hears me, because this is not going to be something that is going to continue to happen, nor are these people going to be charged premium fees for water services by a third-party supplier. Now, the Rockdale Water Resources is the registered water authority for the area. Why and how can a third-party non-utility company start charging people for water that they already paid for? Explain. And this is what our governments, our governors, our legislators need to do something about, because this is a cash cow. Utilities are a cash cow, and these third-party collection agencies are not regulated by the state of Georgia, and they have the name utilities. So when they bang on people's doors and turn off their water, the people who quote unquote are renters or rent-to-own people think that this is the utility company. And so they'll sign whatever agreement and say, okay, turn the water back on. And they're charging these people $4,000 to install plastic into their homes. That is unreasonable. That's why I'm speaking up. I came from a family of, military, and we are a family here. It's not about different colors. All of us have the same blood, period. So somebody is going to speak up, and I will. And I'm not going to be the only one saying anything. And so this is the day that we're going to stand up and do something, not just for our community, but for all communities that do not have a voice here in America. Not just in America. This is somebody's family member. They came over here to live a good life or to do work that Americans don't want to do, like go in the fields. Just saying that. Who's actually harvesting our crop if it's not Americans? Who is actually utilizing their labor? They're coming from all over to work. How do I know this? Communicating. This is what this pound cake does. Give somebody a slice of pound cake, they start talking, chewing and talking. This is good. And then they start sharing about their life. So that's why CeCe's Pound Cake is available online, and I do comedy about it. Because one, cake is something that everybody's grandmama or aunt made back in the day. So today we're just going to rejoice, say some jokes, smile a little, dance a little, celebrate, and then say something good about everyone else. So everybody else got something to say? I'm ready. Any more questions?
Yeah, I just want to really capture real quick. You talked about communicating. And before we got on to our live here and recording, you made a mention pre-show about sign language. You want to describe that a little bit? You said at this point you're taking on sign language. What kind of motivated you? What's happening? And where are you going with sign language?
Oh, yes, our church, I go to a large church. It's called New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. We're actually building 150 small homes, breaking ground today. So today, I'm learning sign language because I talk a lot. So how am I going to talk to people who can't talk back unless I learn how to say hello? This means father. This means mother. This means thank you. This means please. So I'm learning sign language on Sundays. And the people who can't hear, they're just so kind. So in order for me to talk, I'm going to have to learn sign language. So this is something I'm taking on. And I'm over 60, learning sign language from the heart. So this is how I'm learning sign language. So thank you for asking the question.
Very good. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little, what do you call it? Synchronize. We're going to get synchronized here because Emily did a presentation on the Daily Huddle, and CeCe had missed it. What Emily did is she provided a quote, and then we were able to respond to what we thought of the quote, and we were able to have our ability huddle and talk about some of these nuances about including people. And I was speaking to stigmas and so forth. Emily is a part, coordinate. She had a planning meeting earlier today, and it was for an autism conference. And so Emily can tell you all about that and present the quote. And then CeCe, you'll have an opportunity to respond to see what you think about what Emily brought forth to the Daily Huddle. And we'll have our Ability Huddle right here on Ability Now. Emily, bring it to us. What you got?
I'm so what Kurt was referring to is that I'm a part of autism group here in Wisconsin, and for the last 5 years have planned a yearly autism conference, adult autism conference. So that's what I was doing for helping plan this year's. But for my quote here, though, it is: autism is having a pure heart and being very sensitive. It is about finding a way to survive in an overwhelming, confusing world. It is about developing differently in a different pace with different leaps, by Trisha Van Berkel. So anybody have any
Alright.
thoughts?
So
Comments?
CeCe, did you catch all that, or do you want her to repeat it again real quick?
It actually cut out on me, but I think that is an awesome topic about autism and having a conference so that we all get together and learn more, and we learn more ways about helping others who may need just a little help. That's all. And so I can be guided in a more positive way by learning more through conferences. That's what they're set up for. So can you tell me more about the conference?
It's a kind of a yearly conference. It's usually generally been like a day conference, which the first year we had it in person, but since then it's been online due to COVID. But we're looking to have it more as a hybrid event. So both online and an in-person thing. Kind of about bringing together like both the disability community and the non-disability community, kind of bridging, getting like the gap between both communities and having better communication and so on. And the whole like understanding and whatever about like what each group's needs are and how to help each other and so on. We've had like different speakers and like roundtable discussions, and we've gotten a good group, decent group attending, but we're always looking to have increase people joining. I mean, everybody's welcome to join us. So yeah, we have
Awesome.
and so we're calling it integral autism conference. We do have a website. I'm not sure if it's in the chair now, we couldn't get it to you. But the integral actually stands for something. Which actually I will tell you in 1 second. It's interactive networking talks and education for growing autism legitimacy. So, yeah, it's kind of bringing awareness and support and everything.
Awesome.
So
That's incredible. I would love to be part of that that hybrid, because we can do a lot of things utilizing all these Zooms and all these social medias and bring awareness to everybody, because people with autism, they have much more abilities than what we think. That's why this is called the Ability Network. And we're going to showcase everyone, no matter what their abilities are. And I think that is so amazing. So that is something I'm got my hand up for. And we're going to have comedy, we're going to have enjoyment, we're going to have lots of smiles, and we're just going to just work together to help one another. So I just love it that you have a hybrid program that supports everyone getting to know one another and seeing how we can all come together and help one another. So yes, can you tell me anything else, or is there any more questions?
there's much more right now. Yeah. Yes,
so
yes, Kurt.
Emily, let's do this. Can you repeat the quote that you came up with again? Let's take another dive into your quote. Because that really spurred things during the daily huddle.
Okay, so autism is about having a pure heart and being very sensitive. It is about finding a way to survive in an overwhelming, confusing world. It is about developing differently in a different pace with different leaps.
So does that
Wow.
bubble anything up for you, CeCe?
The pure heart really resonates with me in finding a way to survive in a world. See, I just think that is so beautiful. So, and when you come to somebody with a clean heart, it's about having a pure heart and being sensitive and finding a way. See, we're all finding our way. And it's like an awesome statement to speak about finding a way to make things happen no matter who you are. And I applaud Emily for stepping up and showing the ability that she has. She has great and amazing abilities. And I thank God because she is just so incredible. So yes, you're doing an amazing job, Emily. Thank you so much.
Well,
And I love the quote.
Thank you,
And it's
CeCe.
making me look at myself in a bigger way. What can I do to help somebody else with a pure heart, a clean heart, and finding a way? So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, I know it says autism in there, but one thing that was brought up when I brought it up was that yes, the autism is said in the quote, but really you could exchange autism with the word life. So like what a lot of it could be. It's like for everybody, not just. Could be connected with anybody, not just with autism thing. I know it's not coming out right, but
sure it is. You're amazing. I can see your heart. It's just so pure. So this is amazing. You're amazing.
The thing that I come back to with the conference is the conference again is called Integral, and I focus in on how they finish up the acronym of Integral, and the L of Integral stands for legitimacy. So let's just think about that. We have a whole conference that the final thought of why have the conference and how they came to the acronym. The L stands for legitimacy. I mean, I want to echo that because that's profound. It's profound because again, in ministries, I look at, are we equally yoked? And that for sure is not true when you have to have the Autism Society support a conference that the final step of explaining what it is, the L stands for legitimacy. That means that people with autism feel from time to time, it's a repetitive thing to address, feeling illegitimate. And isn't that see now illegitimate is applied in other ways that when I was growing up, you'd learn about, well, some children could be illegitimate, like here in Milwaukee in the 70s, they'd be like, what? Oh, I'm glad I'm not illegitimate, I guess, because apparently there's another kid that is illegitimate, so this idea of, belonging is a huge buzzword too. And so I want to come back to the water issue. Before the show again, Emily came up with just a reminder thing about we have a friend, Leon McLaughlin, with the Clean Water Foundation. Right now, there's no introduction of the issue to Leon or the foundation, but Emily's going to help us introduce this hot topic to them over there to Leon to see what their thoughts are and if they want to come and be a part of our posse here. I've had things happen in my life where one day, one guy told me, hey, Kurt, what he needs is a shitstorm. And I'm like, so to me, there's a little bit of bringing a storm like that, to this topic because there's power in numbers. Because it's just individual parties, and that these parties are kind of marginalized, and they're just subjective. Obviously, these people in power, that we give them.
Mhm.
We as America, as Georgia, as Atlanta, we give them power. And what is the end to this power? Is other human beings are being taken advantage of. It's a slavery, folks.
Mhm.
You know, it's this idea of, you know, human trafficking and, you know, this whole realm of all the inequities around the world. And it manifests itself in a specific community of the Atlanta market. And it's just flat not right. I would love to have the people that make this possible, that this could happen, to come on this show to talk to me and see what that does to them, to talk to Kurt Roscoff about where they're letting it stop. You know, yeah, we can get to a certain point that they might be able to articulate the limits to their capacity to attend to this, but we have an issue like when I was at that lake and this gentleman was not able to ski, I could have just said, "Oh, darn it." I could just, darn it, and just walked away. And just been like, well, I guess people with disabilities don't get to ski in ski shows. You know, but I laid awake that night, like, is this the character of Kurt Roscoff? You know, and I leaned to the right, and no. You know, it wasn't right from my faith front. It wasn't right from what I was taught through the non-governmental organization space, the charitable space. It was not right from what I felt my teachers were trying to teach me all throughout school, or my professors. It just was not consistent with anything in my life. And to feel like, you know, I'm a white man of privilege and I get to do this stuff, and there's other people who don't. I'm here to say horse crap. This is just not right. This is where I created a mantra of the world I want to see has unbiased pathways. Like Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream. You know, there's so many people in history that just gave us the script to say how we need to have our faith journey. You know, on the health front, I can share that 20 years ago, I was having heart issues. And I was at my ski site, I'm in the ambulance, and I'm like going to the ER and I'm having a heart issue. I can't catch my breath, and they're giving me morphine. They're giving me all that I'm breathing right now in the ambulance, but I didn't know what was going on. So I'm like, am I done? Am I done? So I'm sitting there looking at the top of the ambulance like, oh, Heavenly Creator, if you just give me a chance, I'll serve you forever. Well, I guess here I am. I'm serving him. You know, my source. That's what this business is about. And to me, in my reflection, this is just not right. It's not proper. It's not what a land is. And like CeCe alluded to, this is going to attract some comparable stories in other locations. And at the end of the day, we got people in this community, and there's an idea of retaliation. So we as a people of America, I want to get this really political, folks. This is a political year, and CeCe Poundcake, if I've ever heard a political, powerful message, you know, like in a movie where I learn about the tail that wags the dog, you know, we're going to wag this thing so we can reach one of these humanitarian concerns that people can just do wrong. Like our friends that said the dude should not water ski that night. I just knew. I just could feel the energy wasn't right. Like, really, this guy's going home dry? He had his neoprene on, shirt on. He had his swim trunks, goggles ready to go. He had towel more ready to go than the rest of the membership. And he was the one that went home dry. You know, just not cool, dude. And two of my friends had 20 reasons why they were justifying. That's what we do as perverted people. It's human nature to justify what we do because we want to be right. We want to be the ones that are verified, validated. And in this story, the ones I want to validate are the residents. And they are subjected to the fear of retaliation. And I say, America, how dare you, hundreds of millions of people, sit by while we know our brothers and sisters are living in fear and just taking it like they're in prison. Like all they get is evening water? Like, are you kidding me? It comes to be naturally in our earlier show today, the World of Ability podcast. We had some professionals talking about health and hygiene, and Leon McLaughlin was on there, and we finished the show with "Love is the Only Way" is a song. You know, so we here at the World of Ability Podcast Network, we are here to say we're here to just flood this issue. You know, I have fun with Sue here, my wife Sue. You know, if you ever see my wife Sue riled up, you'll understand why one of our nicknames for my wife Sue is Tsunami. If you ever see the tsunami, watch out. So Atlanta, if tsunami's coming your way, watch out. I just got to tell you. You know, so that's what I want this to be. I want this to be captivating, compelling, and I want it to be the humanitarian thing and fellowship and, you know, brother and sisterhood and whatever. With any capacity of love we have, let's get involved. And let's not limit it to the USA. Let's have the UK. Let's have Australia. Let's have China. Let's have Asia. Let's have Canada. Let's have South America. Let's have people from all over. Let's show Atlanta, like, hey, lucky you, you're getting the attention of the world saying, hey, what you're doing there is inhumane. It's not humanitarian. Change the result. Get these folks water. We have 8 billion people on the planet. I think you can outreach to say if Atlanta can't get it done, let's team up outside of Atlanta, in Atlanta. Let's take care of this community. Let's take care of these people, and let's keep this journalizing going to say this is how you get it done. And thank you, CeCe, for bringing this forward. We got to do this. Sue, what do you think, Tsunami? Where are you at?
I just am blown away that there is such an issue going on, and that it's not a short-term thing. You said this has been going on for a really long time. I can imagine there being something where, you know, there could be a hiccup in some way. But how long has this been going?
Since January 2023, my home has not had any water, and I connected it using the plumber. Somebody who wasn't the water company came and destroyed the lines outside. When I had it connected again, destroyed it again, and relocated the shutoff valve to where I don't even know where it's at. And when I asked the HOA, well, turn the water on, my bill is paid. They said, we'll get to it. And has not said nothing else. I go to the meetings every month, turn the water on. Video, turn the water on. They got water. How come my house doesn't have water? No late notice, no nothing, not even telling me when they're going to turn the water off. So you can imagine all of my appliances are fried because no one told me when they were going to turn the water off. And to do it. That's what and if it's the HOA members, they all got water. Yeah, this is an all-inclusive community. Why? If my bill is high, isn't the water on?
Yeah, like a year and a half,
No
almost a year and a half. Yeah, almost a year and a half.
Don't even think that. I contacted right there water resources, right there county water resources, the commissioner, the mayor, the what do you call that? The code enforcement. They, you know, by law, they're supposed to inspect the property to see if they have water.
What do they say?
Nobody responds. I went online. Look, I have the evidence. I've been notating all this. Next door neighbor got their water lines cut and flooded out all of us.
Wow. So
my insurance won't even cover it.
All right, so here you go, folks. Here on today's episode of Ability Now, we have uncovered a can of worms. That can is going to come a can of whoop-ass. So here we go, right on Ability Now. We're going to show you how advocacy works. We learn from ADAPT civil disobedience. Sue and I are trained on civil disobedience by ADAPT, and Sue's like, OMG, I can't believe we need organizations to still do this. Isn't it 2024 in America? Is it like, do we go on a time machine and like we're back to, the 1950s, 60s, 70s, like what's going on here? We're back to the 80s. We haven't advanced in the last 40 years. And the question we have for all of you is why not? These things should not be happening in today's supposedly advanced civilization of Atlanta, Georgia. We're just going to keep this call out of Atlanta, Georgia, and say, people from outside looking in, you're in a fishbowl now, everybody. All these parties that CeCe has identified, we are going to put it under the court of public opinion. And we're going to have this opened up to press releases and everything, and we're going to squash it. So the fear is not with residents. The fear is with the governor of the state of Georgia. The fear is with the mayor of Atlanta. The fear is with all the alder people. The people who are supposed to be representing how business gets done in America, to say that when people aren't giving responses, we see the pattern. I've been involved in preposterous situations, and the reality is people love their jobs. The mayor wants to continue being the mayor. The governor wants to continue being the governor. The people in like doing the, checking on the codes, the inspectors and so forth. Everybody just wants their job. That's the whole point. Well, you know what, all of you with your jobs, you apparently don't appreciate enough, because when you have a job in the service sector, you are serving the people. And right now you're showing us how you do your job. And maybe you don't like the job as much as you let on, because these people would be taken care of if you like your job. So Kurt Roscoff is calling you out. Thank you, CeCe, for bringing it to us. Sue, we've run out of time. Take us on out of here. We're going to pick this up again on Saturday, June 1st. So we're going to give it the mother load here in May. CeCe is going to be keeping with our team. We're going to be making advances. We're going to follow her direction. And these residents have our full support. And everything that I have access to is going to go into a funnel. And it's going to go to CeCe. And then CeCe is going to say, yeah, Kurt, drop that off over here, this off over there. And we're gonna give the shit. That's what's gonna happen, and we're gonna give you the update. Saturday, June 1st, same time. We produce these shows Saturdays, the first Saturday of the month. Saturday, June 1st will be 5 Eastern. So let's see what happens from today's talk with May's action and what we have back for June. Watch out for those June bugs. These June bugs can bite. So Sue, wrap it up and take us on out here. I think we're well out of time. We need a little encore there.
Awesome. CeCe, thank you so much for being here and for bringing forward what's going on in your neck of the woods. I actually am thinking it's a little ironic here what's going on outside right now as we speak. I'm hearing thunder. I am hearing the clouds are opening up outside my house right now.
Call me Zeus, folks.
The water's coming.
Lightning. I'm your Zeus coming at you.
It's coming. So let's see what we can do to make a difference for you, CeCe. You make such a difference for so many people. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for being here with us with Ability Now. Again, my name is Sue Roscoff, and as always, we thank you.